Hello and welcome back to our channel. Today, we are going to dive into the fascinating world of regionalist movements in Europe. Have you ever wondered why some regions of Europe feel distinct and different from the rest of the continent? Well, regionalism is the answer. In this video, we will explore some of the main regionalist movements in Europe, their history, and their impact on European society. Okay, so first things first, let's define what we mean by regionalism. Basically, regionalism is the idea that certain regions within a country should have more autonomy and control over their own affairs. This can be anything from having their own local government, to having more say in economic policies, to promoting their own unique cultural identity. So, why do people support regionalism? Well, it can be because they feel their region is being neglected or unfairly treated by the central government, or because they want to preserve their own distinct culture and traditions. Now, let's explore some of Europe's most significant regionalist movements. Number 1. Flanders. Flanders is a region located in northern Belgium, and it is home to a distinct Flemish culture and language. The Flemish people have long felt that their cultural and linguistic identity is under threat from the French-speaking Walloons in the south, who have historically held most of the political power in Belgium. This has led to a strong regionalist movement in Flanders that seeks greater autonomy and recognition for the Flemish people. The regionalist movement in Flanders began to gain momentum in the 1960s and 1970s as the Flemish people became increasingly frustrated with what they saw as a lack of recognition and representation within the Belgian state. This movement gained even more support in the 1980s when the Belgian government attempted to enforce the use of French in official government communications, despite the fact that Flanders is a majority Flemish-speaking region. In response to these perceived injustices, Flemish regionalists have called for greater autonomy for Flanders, including the establishment of a separate Flemish parliament and government. The Flemish Nationalist Party, the New Flemish Alliance, has been particularly successful in recent years and is currently the largest party in the Belgian federal parliament. While the regionalist movement in Flanders has sometimes been associated with far-right extremism, many Flemish regionalists argue that their movement is not about nationalism or separatism, but rather about securing a better future for the Flemish people within a reformed Belgian state. That being said, there is still a significant amount of tension between Flemish regionalists and the French-speaking Walloons, particularly over issues such as language policy, political representation, and the allocation of federal resources. Despite these challenges, the regionalist movement in Flanders shows no signs of slowing down and will likely continue to be a major force in Belgian politics for the foreseeable future. 2. Catalonia. Catalonia is an autonomous region in northeastern Spain with its own distinct language, culture, and history. The Catalan regionalist movement has a long and complicated history dating back to the late 19th and early 20th centuries when Catalonia was a center of industrialization and economic growth in Spain. The regionalist movement in Catalonia gained momentum in the 1970s after the death of Spanish dictator Francisco Franco, who had suppressed Catalan culture and language during his regime. Since then, there has been a strong push for greater autonomy and recognition of Catalan identity within the Spanish state. One of the most contentious issues in the Catalan regionalist movement is the question of independence. While not all Catalan regionalists are pro-independence, there is a significant segment of the population that believes Catalonia would be better off as an independent state, separate from Spain. This movement for Catalan independence gained widespread attention in 2017 when the Catalan government held an unauthorized referendum on independence, which was met with violent clashes between Spanish police and Catalan citizens. The Spanish government subsequently imposed direct rule over Catalonia, sparking widespread protests and calls for greater autonomy and recognition of Catalan identity. The regionalist movement in Catalonia has also been marked by cultural activism, with Catalan regionalists advocating for the preservation and promotion of Catalan language, literature, music, and art. In recent years, there has been a resurgence of interest in Catalan culture and identity, with the region becoming a center of avant-garde art and design, as well as a hub for the technology and startup industries. 3. Basque Country. The Basque Country is an autonomous region in northern Spain and southwestern France with its own distinct language, culture, and history. The regionalist movement in the Basque Country has been shaped by a long history of political and cultural repression, as well as a strong sense of Basque identity and nationalism. One of the main issues in the Basque regionalist movement has been the question of independence. There is a significant segment of the Basque population that believes the Basque country should be an independent state, separate from Spain and France. This movement for Basque independence has been marked by a long history of violence, with the Basque separatist group ETA carrying out a campaign of bombings and assassinations over several decades. In recent years, however, the Basque regionalist movement has largely moved away from violence and towards peaceful political engagement. The Basque Regionalist Party, the Basque Nationalist Party, has been a major force in Basque politics since the early 20th century, advocating for greater autonomy and recognition of Basque identity within the Spanish state. The Basque country has a high degree of autonomy within Spain, with its own government, police force, and tax system. The Basque government has been active in promoting Basque language, culture, and identity, and has also worked to address issues related to economic development, social welfare, and environmental protection. In addition to the push for greater autonomy and recognition of Basque identity, the Basque regionalist movement has also been marked by a strong emphasis on social justice and environmental activism. Basque regionalists have been at the forefront of movements to protect the environment, promote sustainable development, and address issues related to social inequality and poverty. Overall, the Basque regionalist movement is a complex and multifaceted phenomenon, reflecting the long history and unique cultural and political context of the Basque country. While the movement has faced many challenges and setbacks, it remains a powerful force in Basque politics and society, and will likely continue to play an important role in shaping the region's future. 4. Scotland. Scotland is a country that is part of the United Kingdom, located in the northern part of Great Britain. The regionalist movement in Scotland is focused on the idea of Scottish independence and the desire to establish Scotland as a separate state from the United Kingdom. The Scottish independence movement has a long history, with its roots in Scotland's unique cultural and political identity. The movement gained momentum in the late 20th and early 21st centuries, with the establishment of the Scottish National Party as a major force in Scottish politics. In 2014, a referendum was held on the question of Scottish independence, with 55% of voters choosing to remain part of the United Kingdom. However, the issue has remained a major topic of debate in Scottish politics, with the SNP continuing to advocate for independence and to push for another referendum on the issue. The Scottish regionalist movement is focused not only on the issue of independence, but also on issues related to Scottish identity, culture, and society. Scottish regionalists have been active in promoting the use of the Scots language, preserving traditional Scottish culture and heritage, and addressing issues related to economic development, social welfare, and environmental protection. The Scottish government has a degree of autonomy within the United Kingdom, with its own parliament, government, and legal system. The Scottish government has been active in promoting Scottish identity and culture, as well as addressing issues related to economic development, social welfare, and environmental protection. The exit of the UK from the European Union has ignited the issue further in recent years. Overall, the Scottish regionalist movement is a complex and multifaceted phenomenon, reflecting the long history and unique cultural and political context of Scotland. While the issue of Scottish independence remains contentious, the movement is likely to continue to play an important role in Scottish politics and society, and to shape the country's future. 5. Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland is a part of the United Kingdom located in the northeast of the island of Ireland. The regionalist movement in Northern Ireland is mainly focused on the issue of Irish reunification, the idea that Northern Ireland should be reunited with the Republic of Ireland and become a part of a united Ireland. The issue of Irish reunification has been a long-standing issue in Northern Ireland, reflecting the complex and often contentious relationship between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. The regionalist movement in Northern Ireland is primarily associated with the nationalist community, which sees Irish reunification as a means of addressing historical injustices and promoting Irish identity and culture. The regionalist movement in Northern Ireland has been shaped by a long history of sectarian conflict, particularly between the Protestant and Catholic communities. The conflict in Northern Ireland, often referred to as the Troubles, lasted from the late 1960s until the Good Friday Agreement was signed in 1998. The conflict was largely driven by political and social issues, but was also shaped by the religious differences between the two communities. The regionalist movement in Northern Ireland continues to play an important role in Northern Irish politics and society. While the issue of reunification remains a contentious issue, the movement is also focused on issues related to social justice, economic development, and environmental protection. In recent years, the regionalist movement in Northern Ireland has been influenced by Brexit, with concerns concerns about the impact of Brexit on the Irish border, and the Good Friday Agreement leading to increased support for reunification among some groups. The issue of Irish reunification is likely to remain a central issue in Northern Irish politics in the years to come, as the region continues to grapple with the legacy of its past and the challenges of its future. 6. Kosovo. Kosovo is a disputed territory in southeastern Europe, located in the Balkans region. The regionalist movement in Kosovo is primarily focused on the issue of Kosovan independence, which has been a contentious issue since the region's separation from Serbia in 2008. Kosovo's history is complex and deeply rooted in ethnic and religious tensions. The region has been home to both Albanian and Serbian populations, with a history of conflict and violence between the two communities. The regionalist movement in Kosovo is primarily associated with the Albanian community, which makes up most of the population in the region. The movement for Kosovan independence emerged in the 1990s, following the breakup of Yugoslavia and the escalation of the conflict between Albanians and Serbs in Kosovo. In 1998, the Kosovo Liberation Army, an Albanian paramilitary group, launched an armed insurgency against Serbian authorities in Kosovo. The conflict escalated into a full-scale war, with NATO forces intervening in 1999 to end the conflict and establish a United Nations-administered territory in Kosovo. In 2008, Kosovo unilaterally declared independence from Serbia, a move that has been recognized by over 100 countries, including the United States and most European Union member states. However, Serbia and several other countries, including Russia and China, do not recognize Kosovo's independence, viewing it as a violation of Serbia's territorial integrity. The regionalist movement in Kosovo is complex, reflecting the deep ethnic and religious divisions in the region. While the movement for Kosovan independence is primarily associated with the Albanian community, there are also significant numbers of Serbs living in Kosovo who oppose independence and seek to maintain ties with Serbia. The issue of Kosovan independence remains a highly contentious issue, both within Kosovo and on the international stage. In conclusion, regionalist movements in Europe have been driven by a variety of factors, including historical grievances, cultural identity, economic interest, and political power struggles. These movements have challenged the traditional notions of nation-states and have highlighted the need for a more nuanced approach to governance that considers the diverse needs and aspirations of different regions and peoples. The question is, should we ignore the voices of these regions and peoples, or should we strive to build more inclusive societies that recognize their legitimate aspirations? Are we better off in a world where one-size-fits-all policies are imposed from above, or in a world where local communities have more say in the decisions that affect their lives? We can learn a lot from the stories of these regionalist movements. We can learn that a sense of identity and belonging is crucial to human flourishing, and that it is not something that can be imposed from above. We can learn that power structures often favor the dominant groups and that it takes a great deal of effort to overcome them. We can learn that dialogue and compromise are key to resolving conflicts, and that violence only begets more violence. As we navigate the complex landscape of regionalism in Europe and beyond, we must remember that we are all part of a shared human experience. Just as we value our own identities and aspirations, we must also value those of others. By embracing diversity and working together, we can create a world that is more just, more inclusive, and more sustainable for all. So, let us continue to listen to the voices of those who are fighting for their rights and their communities. Let us support them in their struggles for justice and dignity. Let us work together to build a better world, one that is rooted in the principles of equality, solidarity, and human dignity.